Right, hello you horrible lot. Welcome back to another episode of Jennie and Friends. You'll see with me today, don't worry, it's not a terrorist. It's my co-host for today. What I'll do is I'll pass over to him just to give a bit of an introduction of who he is, what he does, and then we'll go from there as always. Tim?
Yeah, sounds so. As Jenny knows me, I'm Tim Messenger. But as other people know me when they play COD, I'm AwEtFiShY.
Craziest shit ever. I would describe you first and foremost as an enigma. You know, I just to set the scene a little bit for anyone that's watching or listening or whatever, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify. If you are just listening, by the way, Timmy's got a balaclava on, so he's quite menacing when you look at it, really. But the anonymity is something that Tim really treasures, and that's absolutely fine with me. And if anything, in today's day and age, I think it's a wise move. Either way, today's podcast is going to be a tiny little bit different than probably our normal broadcast, mainly because me and Tim are going to freestyle it. I know it seems like it's probably freestyled anyway, but actually a lot of this stuff is quite well choreographed. That's part and parcel of the art of what we do. But first and foremost, Tim, what is it that is so important about the anonymity piece for you? If I can ask, you don't have to give me everything, but
I don't know, mate. Do you know what it is? I don't know what happened. It was just something about it where everywhere you go, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Social media's everywhere. Phones are there. You see it nowadays. Like you see there's an accident or something on the news. It's not choreographed by a production team. It's choreographed by someone's Snapchat.
Yeah.
Choreographed by that. It's someone pulling the phone out and videoing it. Nobody helps. Everybody just clips it. and that's it nowadays. Like you look at all these streamers online and you see people that do podcasts, videos, everything like that. It's their faces there. And when it's there, it's never gone. So
yeah, you can't take it back, can you?
You can't, yeah. I don't know, it's a bit mysterious. Like I've always had like a thing for that, the anonymous side of things. Like it's the anonymous, like they're crazy. No one knows who it is. They know nothing about them. They are invisible.
Yeah.
And you only know what they want you to know. And like I say, I'm not that kind of person, but I like having that invisible sort of side of it.
Yeah, I think there's what I've discussed this in the past, in possibly in a different way with a couple of other guests that we've had on the show about personas, facades. I think as individuals we live in this world, and it's really simple to see actually. Like you as an individual have a job, right, and you have a home life and missus and kids and whatever else. Right, we've all got these own things going on behind the scenes. But certain people in our lives only see certain things and certain facades and certain personas. And for me, my persona, my balaclava is Jennie Mells, right? Like that's the truth of it. Although my face is here, and of course, I've foregone that anonymity in that respect. In actuality, no one really knows who I am. They just know who they see on the screen in front of them, right? And with the streaming in particular, like it's good. I do wish actually further down the line now that I probably had put a little bit more in the way of thought onto how do I try and protect that side of things, the face. But then also I think as part of being a streamer, for me, it was always about being the Jennie Melts show. I wanted to be the center of attention, like, and I think you can't have your cake and eat it too in that respect in my instance. So I think I probably could never get away with not having a face camera. Otherwise, there's not much else that I don't know stands out about what I do as a streamer that I could rest on. A lot of it's the lights, it's the cool background, it's all of that shit as well. Now, look, me talking about myself, people know about me. Let's get into you a little bit. So, like we say, Tim Messenger, we say Timmy, we say AwEtFiSHY, and I'll call you whatever you want. I just won't call you late for dinner, eh? But you were at one point a streamer, correct?
Yes.
Talk to me. What happened?
It was great. God's honest truth. It was amazing. But the reality of it is, people think you flick a PC on, you turn a console on, and 3, 2, 1, it's there. And it's not. There's editing that needs to go into it. There's the tech side of things, let alone, is an absolute headache, which we all know about. Mic issues, camera issues.
Yeah.
There's so much behind it that people just don't understand. Everyone just seems to think that they can flick on an app and they're a streamer, and it's not like that. There's so
No.
much behind it that people just don't understand, and it is a very demanding position to have if you want to become a streamer. And I just don't think a lot of people understand that.
It's all encapsulating, isn't it? That's the
Yeah, of
problem. Like
course. Yeah,
it's I say all encapsulating, all encompassing. It takes over your life. That's the long and short of it. And we talked a little bit earlier about having jobs and families and all of that stuff as well. But in actuality, I genuinely feel that after being full time streamer now for what, the best part of a year. I started in February, right, and I've basically been putting 40 hours a week into it since the start of the year. Um, there are so many things that have gone by the wayside for me to
of
do
course.
this
Yeah,
all the time, you know. And I think you've hit a really important piece, or hit something there that's really important to me, and something that's actually really relevant to me at the moment as well. Is that this does take so much, and it very, very often gives very little back. It takes everything that you have, whether that be fiscally, you know, you're spending money on, like you said, technology, for example. None of this stuff is free, you know,
yeah.
like, and especially to be at what I would consider even the bare minimum in terms of streaming. So, for example, like you said there, you can't just turn on an app or turn on a PC and just stream your gameplay and consider yourself a streamer. I think, unfortunately, we're in an epidemic where people think that is the case, and we like TikTok is filled, and I know you know this as well. It's just filled with no face cam,
Yeah,
very bad sound,
yeah,
terrible, like, I don't know, banners across the screen, someone that you can't even, that's not even talking or engaging with their community, or, well, I say community, the two people watching them, whatever it may be, and then they go, yeah, I'm a streamer. So do you think, of course, having put in that time, effort, money, resource, and everything else into the streaming, did you just take a conscious decision to step back because you didn't think that it was for you, or was it more okay? And I'm not trying to be horrible either. Is it a case of, was it too much? Did you not want to do it anymore? What was really the case there?
God's honest truth. There's a section we'll get into it, obviously the mental health side of it, but um, it was too demanding. A bit obviously snippet of my life. 3 kids, 2 dogs. I'm
Yeah,
a single parent. It's not easy, and then trying to do that as a full-time job, and then also trying to stream as well. It's a lot. It's a lot. The ideal streamer is someone that has another outside life commitment, and that sounds horrible,
that's true.
but
It's true.
you need to have zero commitment to anything, and then build your life around streaming.
Yeah,
Because
I
yeah,
think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. When I look at, so I would go out on a limb and say that I think I've been semi-successful. Right, I've certainly seen some massive numbers. I've certainly supported myself, being myself and my missus, and keeping a roof above my head, playing games. Right, so I think there's probably a level of success there. But actually, you are 100% correct. The whole idea that you could you could have a life outside of this and still be successful is just a fallacy. It doesn't work. When you look at some of the biggest streamers in the world, and on paper, I don't know, for example, we take Call of Duty, right? I see one of the most successful Call of Duty players in terms of a streamer would be someone like Metaphor, right? Who's number one in the world, solos, BR player, absolutely shit hot, cannot be touched, fantastic, but he doesn't have a camera. And then recently he put a camera on. You look at him and you go, yeah, I can
wow,
see what, yeah, I can see why. And actually, it probably comes back to that original point about the enigma, about the mystery, because I think when you look at someone play a game, and but let's make no bones about it, Tim. You can have a game of fucking COD, right? You're a great Call of Duty player.
yeah,
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 you are shit hot. You're very, very good. And I think I mean, we've played some fucking great games, you know, and we vibe really well as well. Like we
yeah,
play
yeah,
well together. Um, and I think it's really seeing you, or seeing your eyebrows and your top of your nose and your eyes today, but actually seeing you and talking to you in a different format. It's taken back for me as well, because I have this idea of you, right?
yeah,
I have this idea of this undying loyalty, and actually, a lot of the time, I genuinely don't believe that I deserve that. A lot of time from a lot of different people, certainly yourself. And when I sit and talk to people, and you'll go, oh, "I've got 3 kids, I've got a job," I go, "Oh fuck yeah, of course he does." Like, of course he does. Like, and it's so stupid that I would even think that you wouldn't do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, of course. But
It's so
but
strange.
I think if that's though separating that from what we do. Obviously, every time we communicate is through you doing obviously your job and us playing.
Yeah,
So the outside of life, yeah, okay, when we're playing a game, there might be the odd bark in the background
sure.
or the odd
Yeah,
little
yeah.
background noise. But I think it's sat in the back of your mind. You never put the two and two together. So you never get that result of to think, oh, by the way, yeah, yeah, he's got another life as well.
I don't think it really serves to either, though. What I mean by that is like when if we again use us as an example. If we're playing together, right, we want to win, and there's nothing. And no one gives. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I'm playing to win. Like whatever's going on around me, extraneous variables. The missus wants me to do something. My phone's blowing up. I'm getting emails or whatever. Fuck that. I'm playing COD, and I've got this undying like tunnel vision, right? I want to get the dub.
Yeah,
Whereas in actuality, like you said, that's not life, is it?
no,
Like life isn't just getting the dub on Warzone. So it's important. It's important to probably just take that away a little bit. And I think I've had my head in the sand for a little bit as well with it,
yeah,
which is quite well. Naturally, it can come across quite sad, I think. But also, I think if you take this exact concept and try and extrapolate it, bring it out, and look at anything in the world, right? You look at the top performers in the world of anything, whether that be sports. You think that the likes of I don't know Wayne Rooney's, Harry Kane's, David Beckham's, whatever. I know that that's only three really random English footballers, but
yeah,
any footballers. But they, of course, would be the geeks, the people that don't have anything else other than the football, right? Do you think at some point?
yeah. It's sleep, eat, work.
Yeah,
That is drilled into your head. You know,
yeah,
you've got a conscious decision whether you had a dad around or not, but you have that conscious decision of you either give this 110%, mate, or you ain't getting that, and that 100% is that you either got to put 110% in, or you ain't gonna get it on a whim.
Do you think? Do you know? I heard something today actually, which sort of correlates with that. Is that nobody wins by accident?
Yeah,
And I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's so true as well." Because actually, you may see. I think we all know the old adage, right? Like the harder you work, the luckier you get. Because actually, luck is like it's not really a thing, is it? You know, like we're
fucking around at the minute, mate.
no, and I think like I do really resonate with the whole idea of putting 110 into everything that I do, and I think it's at a detriment of myself and everyone else around me. In all fairness, like I'm in a position now where I'm going back to work because I can't make this work the way I need it to, and although that's such a bitter pill to swallow, it definitely plays on, and this is a great segue on the way that I feel about myself, my mental health, my perception of who I am and what I can do. So, in terms of mental health in particular, which obviously is a massive focus on this channel anyway, and always has been, and I think it should be more of a focus. I genuinely don't think you can talk about it enough.
Yeah,
Do you think you've mentioned it earlier that the mental health thing had a part to play? Just how much of a part do you think that was to play?
massively.
Yeah,
Between so I don't really like. I started talking about it, but I don't want to say it's that whole stigma because let's be honest, the stigma is what you make out of it.
yeah,
It is getting slightly better in a sense of more people are a bit more open and honest about it. But when you meet a group of people that have been through similar situations, no one's situation is ever the same.
no,
Everyone's situation is different, and my biggest problem was always comparing, kicking myself, and going, "Why am I feeling sorry for myself when there's other people around the other side of the world which are far worse off than me?" But
yeah,
then being told, "But that's not your life." They've grown up into that. You've grown up in the life that you've grown up in. So when you have a tough day, if that day's tough for you. It doesn't matter whether it's affected Bill next door to you. Yeah, Bill
yeah.
might have had an absolutely cushy, easy life. So, but yeah, the mental health of it, yeah, there was, yeah, it was deep, it was hard, and it was. This is the escape. To be
Yeah,
completely honest, this is the escape.
yeah, and I think I hear that a lot. I think we all do, right? That gaming in particular, whether it be competitive, semi-competitive Call of Duty, or whether that be, I don't know, building fucking castles in Minecraft, right? Like it doesn't matter what it is. The whole idea that you can step back from what is a reality into a completely different one and feel better is really not the right word, is it? Because
No.
actually it's a short-term fix for a long-term problem. But it's certainly it's certainly for just a small portion of that day or that week or whatever it is, whenever you get an opportunity to jump on, you're not you and you don't have to deal with those, do you? Don't have to deal with the
Yeah.
problems to whatever may have occurred that
Whatever's
day or
going on,
yeah.
switches off for that. Whether, like you say, it might be that 90 minutes that you played, or whether you've grinded it out for a week or whatever. It is a step back, which everyone needs a step back. Everyone needs a relief, and I think
Yeah, I think so.
gaming is it.
Do you think so I'm trying to understand why someone like yourself who is a massive character, by the way. Like just in yourself, you're such a bold personality,
Yeah,
and actually would lend itself so well to streaming. Like, of course it would. You know, like you know yourself, you've tried it, and you would have seen success. And regardless of whatever it is that you were dealing with, what's stopping you from getting back up and doing it again? Because if it's something that you liked and something that I genuinely feel you would be good at, and you also aren't just filling it's not like you've just got the chat, just got the personality. You also can play. So why not just get back up on the horse and try again?
multiple things, man. So again, another insight on me. I've got a few physical health conditions that cause issues, to say the least. So I might not come on for a couple of days because of them. So type 1 diabetes, not an issue. We just live with that. It's a bit of insult
Yeah,
to sound,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it has an adverse effect on your health,
Sure.
which obviously has slowly started to deteriorate in my life. So I got then diagnosed 18 months ago with Crohn's disease.
Ah,
So
okay.
not only do I have that, I've then got that. So I battle between them. So it's hard because you can't give it all, because if you
No.
want to give it all, but then something might happen. I might have a flare up, and that'll write me off. That so that means I've then got a couple of days rest. But obviously, then I'm thinking, damn, I need to get to work. I need to earn money.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, damn, and then it consumes your life. Like say, everyday life then ends up consuming you, and bad thoughts start to happen.
But is that not so? And look, far be it from me, by the way, to be able to solve any problems because I can't solve my own, let alone yours. But if we were just for a moment, if we could pretend that maybe I was that intellectual that I could try and have a go, um, would I and the reason let me set the frame first. Let me set the frame. I didn't realize that by starting the streaming, just how much of a support network I would build, and not just for myself, but for all of the people that come across my stream, right? And that may be I've spoke about in the past. Like that could be thousands of people, it could be hundreds of people, it could be two people. To be fair, it doesn't matter realistically how many. Of course, the more the better. But is it not for me? My stream is a coping mechanism for me as well as it is everyone else.
Yeah,
And do you is there even one inkling or a slight possibility that by stepping away, and you don't have to stream, right? And I'm not trying to get you to stream, but even if you had half an hour or an hour a week to step on and just have an hour with the people that would come across that stream, and you would just enjoy the hour and they would just enjoy the hour. What I and the reason I ask you again is because I don't think you really give me a straight answer. You started streaming, I wasn't lucky enough to see you streaming because I
yeah,
do
yeah.
genuinely feel I would have been privileged to do so, and I think that you can do it. Why aren't you doing it?
I need to do it.
But it just seems silly to me. It seems
Of
silly.
course.
And I'm not again. This isn't me coming at you because it literally is just me and you here, right? This is and there's no one to blow
Yeah,
smoke.
yeah.
There's
No,
nothing.
we know that. We know that.
Yeah, I genuinely believe that I'm in a very privileged position to be able to turn around to people and say, I reckon you can do this, and it's because I know that I can do it and I have done it and I've shown that I can do it. In the same token, as I've helped people because I am the way that I am and the person I am, I've helped multiple people that I didn't think could do it, and I wouldn't tell them that.
Yeah.
They've asked me for help, and I just give them the help, right? All the while knowing in the back of my head, thinking this guy's going fucking nowhere. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I'm sure you can appreciate. It actually, is quite frustrating to sit and talk to a man that is every bit about what I'm about, and has every bit about him to do something about it. And it's such a wasted opportunity for you to sit there and go, well, yeah, I've got this and I got that. I know you do. Yeah, of course we all do, right? Of course
Yeah.
we do. But why not? And the only reason I can think of is that there's something else that you don't like about streaming that means you don't want to get up in front of the people to do it.
Yeah. Potentially.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case. I thought that might be the case. But that actually does brings me to a next point that I was going to make about the streaming. It's We touched upon earlier that we put everything into it, right? And we get very little back. In actuality, streaming's not a very nice thing to do a lot of the time. And I think that's something that really needs to be said, and said over and over and over again. In the vast majority, you'll have a good stream, you'll have good reactions. I would say even now, a lot of my reactions aren't good reactions. They're just little twerps looking for a wind up, or
Yeah. Yeah.
some prick that's turned up that thinks he knows everything and just wants to alienate people.
Yeah.
So would I be right in saying that there's a part of you that just doesn't want to have to deal with the dickheads?
100%. Yeah. It's like anywhere. Unless someone feels like they're going to get something out of it, they won't say anything positive.
Yeah.
And it's easier to be negative than it is positive.
So true, isn't it?
To think that that's the day and age that we live in, it's so quick to just be negative and not, how do you word this correctly? Sometimes you just need to go, it's not worth saying. But some people will go out the way to then go find you online, find you know the script.
Yeah.
They'll lose to you in a game. They'll search you up online. They'll find your platforms, and they will go to every single platform to badmouth you on that platform.
Yeah.
And then they'll wait until you're live, as if they've got a notification turned on, and they'll be straight in it. But then they'll have backup accounts,
Yeah.
and then they'll be back in. But it's like, say his name's Bob, but then it's B-O-B, then it's B0B,
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah.
Bob 1, Bob 2, and then you just think, mate, will you just give it a rest? And
Yeah. But
it's annoying.
for me, like, I get it, right? Because
Yeah,
actually, I especially as I'm now going back to work, for lack of a better word, and I'm just being honest as well, I've definitely got to a point now where I'm not dealing with your shit. And what I mean by that is, like, when I first started streaming, beggars can't be choosers,
of course.
right? Like, you just want the interaction because you're happy for the interaction, regardless whether it's good or bad. It's interaction.
Yeah.
In the same way that, like, no publicity is bad publicity, right? Because if people are talking about you, they're talking about you. So it doesn't. Yeah, I know. Because you're right. You're absolutely right. Because we've just lived through. We live through. Well, we're living through currently right now a day by day basis of someone being cancelled for something somewhere, for whatever it may be, something that you may see, you may have said, or you may have posted fucking 5, 6, 7 years ago that didn't mean anything to anyone then, and now all of a sudden it's the cancel culture and they'll come and get you.
Yeah.
I do genuinely believe that somewhere along the line, as if this grows and as I grow and if it gets bigger and I become, I don't know, more famous, however, or famous at all, anything like that, I will be cancelled within 2 weeks. That is 100%, because although I personally don't have social media, have never had social media, so I didn't have I think I may have had very early stages a Facebook account in like 2005 or something, like really early
They'll
days.
find that. They'll find
Yeah, yeah, of course they will. Yeah, of course they will. But I've always felt that social media is the devil for a number of different reasons. But actually, these podcasts, I've done other podcasts. There's clips of my games. There's clips of me fucking screaming and shouting at people. Like, somewhere along the line, I'm getting got. And I know that as well. And I do genuinely feel that, as I now am going back to work, to go back to the original point, I now do not give a fuck. I had a stream today where the numbers were back up. It felt really good.
Yeah.
And then, like, pricks just turned up. And I was like, oh, go fuck yourself. I'm not interested. Whereas I know in streams gone past, I would have tried to have a bit of a laugh, a bit of a joke, try and turn them around. Whereas now the shutters are down. I'm like, fuck you, man. I go back to work. I don't care,
Yeah.
you know? But I think that go on,
Yeah,
go on.
no, it's the other part of it though is you get people that come in, and no matter what you do, whether it be positive or negative in that stream, they always want more.
Yes.
It sounds horrible, but it's one more game. Stay on for a little bit longer. Why are you going off? Why don't you
Yeah.
stream more? Why are you a part-time streamer? Why this?
Yeah.
Why that? And I know this is the biggest, the or one of the best lads that I ever watch on stream besides yourself. Let me just put that out there. Obviously, I watch a lot of Tim the Tapman. I've got to sit
Yeah.
on his time zone to watch that, and I
Yeah.
have to watch it when I can and in between things. But he gets it a lot, and man like Jinxie, exactly the same with him. The amount of people that come into the chat and will constantly, consistently say you're a part timer, you don't put enough time, you don't put enough energy into it, and it's like, well, I also have a life too. I
Yeah.
need to eat, I need to drink, I need to go out, I need to socialize. You need to do things, but they've been able to do that after they've made a career.
Yeah.
They've
This is.
made a career, and then they can now do what they need to do.
I think there's an element, like we, of course, like when by no means, by the way, for anyone listening or watching, am I likening myself to those realms because I'm really, really not. But from a streamer's perspective, I can even see how fucking annoying it would be. But also, I hold something really close to my heart is that I feel so responsible for the people that sit in my streamer that are there every day, whether that be responsible for I feel incredibly responsible for the actions that they take in other people's streams, right? When look, you see I mean TikTok's a great example of people putting like changing their name to something similar to the streamer that they watch,
Yeah,
right? Like which I'm sure we can all agree is fucking lunacy, by the way.
yeah,
Like why like first and foremost, if you're a streamer and you're encouraging people to change their name, their username to something like your username to be some sort of weird leader of your own cult, you have got such a massive ego problem that you need to go to the doctors and get it checked out, right? This is not this it's not your show. Anyway, further to that, these people that rely on you to turn up every day, and when you do want more, you should think yourself so fucking lucky that you have the opportunity that
yeah,
people think that way about you. Like you, I have, of course, I've had it. I've had it a number of times, right? Oh, why are you going off? Especially when people know you full time and you got nowhere to be. They go, "Well, what are you doing here?" And like you said, there's a whole nother. Right, I could stream for 5 hours, have the worst 5 hours of my life, right? Fucking hated the game, nothing's going right, it's dog shit, technology problems,
yeah,
and people are still vibing out in the chat because they just
yeah,
like
yeah.
being there, right? They just like being there.
Presence.
But yeah, but I'm hating every fucking second of it, right? I feel that I have always been quite open and honest with people, but I know that, well, I say I know. I'd like to think you get to a certain point where you're like the likes of Jinxie, Tim the Tap Man, I don't know, Doctor Disrespect, Bobby Poff, fucking the Metaphor, Tactical Brit, Westy, Stoddy, all of them. There's fucking hundreds, right? There's
Yeah,
so many content creators. You get to a point where you owe it to those people to be there.
yeah,
And this is what you signed up for. And if that means that you have to sit in that massive mansion of yours, but only sit in one room for 40 to 50 to 60 hours a week, but then the rest of it you can go and literally enjoy the fruits of not much labor, I think that's okay.
yeah,
Like I don't know, and I'm sure like sometimes duty calls and you have to go do stuff, right?
yeah, yeah,
But I genuinely do feel that there's an element there of like, well, fuck, dude, Tim Attack, man, how much money's that geezer pulling in?
yeah.
Like, yeah, like, at some point you've got to go, yeah, okay, I'll stay on another couple of hours then, because that's just the world, right?
Yeah, of course it is. He explained it very well on his. Obviously, he's got personal things going on in his life, and
Okay,
like everyone else has got on. But
sure.
he says, when I hit 4 hours, I'm boring, chat.
Oh, okay,
I can stimulate you for a good 2 to 4 hours. After that, I'm dry. He's like,
yeah,
he is honestly, he says, like, he compares himself to a crack. He's like, I dry up. Like, I can't sit there and perform for you for this long because at the end
yeah,
of the day, it is a performance. And he's like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. And I'm like,
that's important.
yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense. It makes sense.
It really does make sense actually, and obviously I've just gone off on a bit of a fucking rant, and now you've just made me look silly. But
No,
but
if you flip it though, like you obviously you've heard of it's cryptics. Like
yeah, of
it,
course,
the amount the amount of negative that flows his way, because everyone's like, accusations fly about on him all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But he'll sit there with a cam on his screen, he'll have one there screen sharing it, and he is always positive in, even when it's a negative response, the way he says it and how he presents himself is so laid back and positive. And I absolutely love it because
I love it.
yeah,
I do love it.
he's got a good way to do it, but you have to have that.
That's part and parcel of that streamer pack though, like the whole, like you're either born with that or you ain't.
Yeah,
Like you can, and that comes into play like way before you're even a streamer, right? You'll know there'll be people in your life, whether it be friends or family, that just can't take a joke. They can't be criticized. They
yeah,
cannot, like, and you're, I don't know if you're lucky enough to still have your mum and dad around, for example, and you've got siblings. Like my mum will go to me, just go easy with your sister today. And I don't even live there, right? I've not lived at home for some time. And Maddie, my little sister, she's 8 years younger than me. So she's 20, fucking 21, whatever.
yeah,
Works at Rolls Royce. She's got a fantastic job. By the way, she's the most switched on, and she will do them more than any one of us. She's like she's so set for it because she's so clever. But you can't say boo to a goose to her because she'll just break down. And mum goes, just go a bit easy with her. Do you know what I mean? So like, you'll know that there's people in your life that are like that. And then there's other people in your life that could not get, like, mate, they could not give a fuck. You could sit there in the front room, throwing shit at them, spitting at them, throwing your fucking dinner at them, telling them they're a prick, whatever. And they'll just still laugh because you just don't care.
yeah,
And I think you're right. Cryptics on screen is a very different to Cryptics off screen. I will say that. But he definitely has a penchant for being able to deal with the bellends, which is,
yeah. It's pure demure.
yeah, it's very demure. It's very cutesy.
I don't know why we said that because we found out demure means old, but
I haven't got a fucking clue, mate. You started saying it, I was like, yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, it sounds good. But I think the whole, like, you're right, actually, and that's probably one of the biggest things that I really don't like about streaming is that people are just so horrible. They're just, and they may not be. You get people that are just vile in general, right? Like, I don't know, just come in and start abusing you, fucking the way you look or whatever, and you go, okay, mate, whatever. Like, but then you've got other people that are genuinely there to make you feel worse about yourself in any way, shape, and form. Like you said, the people that have all those 6, 7 accounts that will continuously belittle you or wind up other people in the chat, or like, do you know, they're just out for fucking causing mayhem. And it's a dark side of the stream, but then, mate, everything else in life has dark sides, as the pricks lying around, you know. You're like, you go to work and you work with bellends and you just think, well, it's just work, I just got to do it. And I actually think that there must be some part of that being in the higher echelons of the streaming world, right? When you're looking at some of those gargantuan figures such as Tim the Tap Man, there's got to be an element of him who just goes, well, it's just work.
yeah,
Because that's all it is, isn't it? Like, he just turns up, he
yeah,
does what he needs to do and fucks off after 4 hours. All right, it's a short shift, but he's still getting what he needs to get done and then just fucking off. But then also, I imagine he's got a massive, like, as you get older, there seems to be as you get bigger in the world of streaming, there's more outlets, right? So he won't just be doing the streaming a day; he'll be doing the YouTube content,
yeah, the
wha-
content
the
of it.
yeah, whatever else that he's got going on. I'm
Of
sure.
course, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I now, in the way that I feel right now, and the way I felt for the last couple of weeks, I do. I love the streaming, but I am very much looking forward to going back to doing something that's a little bit more typical.
yeah,
I'll be honest. It's just too much.
yeah. Yeah, I understand that. It's routine. It's
Yeah.
routine. Like, and as much as we all hate work, let's be honest. Like, you can have the best job in the world. Like, I, I've got admiration for whoever is working for Yorkshire Tea and is a tea tester, because that there is not a demanding job, and that's
No.
great. You just get to sit there and drink tea all day long. That there has got to be the most stress-free job ever.
Do you reckon?
I reckon they still have shit days.
Of course they do. Of course they do. You think like he's not whoever like by the way, we're gonna put it all on one person now. Like that multi-billion pound company that is Yorkshire Tea has just got one guy and they trust him explicitly.
He's got a mustache.
Huh?
He's got a mustache as well. He's
Oh,
got
do you think?
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, he
100%.
probably would. He probably would. Yeah, because you'd. But then, having said that, Yorkshire's. I wouldn't say. I'm going to upset some people. I wouldn't say Yorkshire's posh. Is Yorkshire posh?
It's got posh parts.
Yeah, but then so, yeah, but so it's fucking everywhere. Like it doesn't.
This every Yorkshireman is got money. Every Yorkshireman's got money if you're from that kind of like proper Yorkshire. You know, your farm and agricultural side of it.
Yeah.
They've got the old pennies in the back pocket. They just don't like spending them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
They just
squeak
don't
when they
like
walk.
spending them.
Yeah. Are you Yorkshire then?
No, so County Durham, but family's military. So I've lived everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, Padbrat, all the way through 2.5 years. Ship them out, go to another place, start your life again.
Really?
Yeah, loved it
See
there
that?
till a certain
Really?
point. You know what? Like, I get it all the time from people, and they're like, "What was that kind of life?" Because obviously, where I live, where I work, and that they're not surrounded by military people. They're not, and they're like, "Oh, your family's military," but yeah, 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 and they're like, "Oh, that must be crazy." Like when I was younger, yeah, it was great because, again, for the persona side of things, you could be whoever you wanted to be when you turned up to that place because you could be a
Yeah.
fresh start. No one knew who you were, but as you got older, you started to build friendships, relationships, jobs. You know, you got settled, and everything gets disturbed because unfortunately you got to go.
So yeah, because that. To be fair, my my family are not military, and I live in Portsmouth, as many people will know, which is predominantly navy, of course. But I was never really affected by any of that. Really, I've just grown up in Portsmouth, and actually, it had some great benefits. But in all seriousness, it's so close, it's almost ancestral. Like it's just like you'll grow up on an island that's like 8 miles by 4 miles. It really does start to grate on you quite a lot, especially as you get a bit older. So there's definitely a part of me that wishes that I'd probably had an opportunity to be in different places more. But actually, as I started, so before streaming, you may or may not know, I had a fairly successful career in sales, and actually, I'm going to go back. That's what I'm going back into.
Yeah,
But sales obviously is traveling, right? I've been to Durham, um, like the city of Durham,
yeah,
whatever. Fucking lovely, beautiful
lovely.
place. Yeah, I don't know if that is that. Here you go. Stupid question of the day: is County Durham the same as Durham, or is there two different places called Durham?
There's Durham and there's County Durham. County Durham's obviously a vast area, but yeah, it's the county of Durham, isn't it?
So is Durham in that county?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah,
Right. Okay. So yeah, I've been in that neck of the woods, which is quite far away from me, by the way. Like 8 hours,
yeah.
7 hours. Yeah,
Depending on
which
the
is
time.
very far away. Yeah, how fast you can drive a car, I suppose. But actually, Durham in itself is very nice. It's
Yeah,
a lovely little spot.
it is. Yeah, and they've got Richmond a little bit further down, which again, phenomenal place. You know,
Mhm.
Richmond's literally just round the corner from there, and I'm not on about Richmond, London. I'm on about Richmond,
Yeah,
North
Richmond,
Yorkshire, which
Richmond,
is
Yorkshire,
yeah,
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire. It's been, you know, to have. Everyone's always says that we've got God, we are God's country because literally, no matter 5 minutes, if I go north, east, south, or west, I am literally on the back roads in an absolute. I don't even know how to explain it, mate. You just get lost. You can just get lost in that place within 5 minutes, and it's unreal to have that literally on your doorstep.
Yeah, we have a couple of different places like down Portsmouth because Portsmouth's like the South Downs, so it's like right at the bottom. But as you go up, you've got like uh, Burriton, New Forest, So there's loads of like lovely forests and stuff. But realistically, being a city kid, because Portsmouth's like the most densely populated city after London, like per square meter.
Yeah,
So Portsmouth, it feels like a city. It is a city in every way, shape, and form. And in actuality, it's just filled with ne'er do wells, miscreants, little fuckers, and is the worst. It's getting worse. It just gets so bad, man, so bad as well. Like the crime here is, pardon me, is ludicrous. I'll be deadly honest with you. It's really not good at all, and it's only getting worse too. Do you find like you mentioned that we won't talk about your kids, you don't want to talk about it, but you've obviously got 3 kids, like you said. Do you find that you're ever more worried about the world that they're growing up in because of that?
Yes and no. I I get comments on it all the time where people say they don't have kids and they'll say, "This is why I've not had kids because of the world we live in." But on the other side, for me, like I'd say I live quite a secluded life to a certain degree.
You're
But
wearing a balaclava, mate.
yeah, of course.
Very secluded.
I don't let world affairs affect me.
Yeah,
I've been affected by it, things that have happened back in 2000, 2003, 2007, London, like everything like that.
yeah,
It's all affected me due to my dad's position and what he does. So I've always been affected by that on a personal level with, okay, is he going to come back?
yeah.
But now the way that I live, it's not directly affecting me. So in the politest way, and it sounds horrible, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's horrible. So I genuinely believe that that's probably the only way that you can be productive.
Yeah,
And I think like someone said to me the other day, I was round. I can't remember whose house I was around. I think it was my mum and dad's. And my dad was like, "Oh, the news is coming on in a minute." I was like, "I'll turn that shit off."
yeah,
He's like, "Well, do you not want to know what's going on?" I said, "No, because realistically, like, and I know this, it might seem naive, but realistically, unless someone's knocking on my door and telling me that this is going to affect where I live, how I live, or what I do from a day-to-day perspective, I don't care.
yeah,
I really don't care." And and when you say it might sound horrible, I suppose it is if you think about like I'm not a hero. There's nothing about me that is hero. I do not wear a cape. I will not run into a burning building for a crying dog or child. Like not for any other reason other than I look after number one, and then directly after that is my mum, my missus, and my family.
yeah,
And there is nothing on God's green earth, no amount of money, nothing godly or ungodly that could change that. And that is primarily because no one else gives a fuck.
no,
Because if they did, they wouldn't act the way that they act, would
yeah,
they?
of course, yeah. And that's it. Like I don't listen to the news via radio or watch TV. No, it's not my thing. And people, like you say, would say it's naive. Like, well, you don't know what's going on in the world affairs. Well, no, because I don't live in the world. I live where I live.
Yeah, I live in my world, and
Yeah,
there's no news channel for that world.
and I travel back and forth to work. I pick my kids up, and we live our life. You know, people go on about that. Oh, do you remember when a Freddo was 15 pence? Yeah, I remember when a Freddo was 15 pence, but I was a nipper. And it's like, oh well, have you seen how much they are now? They're £1, right? Okay. Uh, it's not as if it happened overnight, mate.
Yeah,
We live our loaf of bread, mate. Like our
uh,
inflation, it's going up, right? Okay, it's been going up for the last how many years? Like the last 20 years, everything's gone up in price.
it's called inflation, Tim. It
Yeah,
like
it will inflate
it goes up.
eventually. Yeah, of course.
That's how it works.
It's literally the nail on the head. It'll
Yeah,
inflate, and everything does go up. People go, "Oh, well, your wages don't go up as quick." Change job then.
yeah, I do. I think this is real dicey territory, right? Because there are, of course, massive divides in the country about um deposits of wealth and unfair deposits, and primarily wealth being in only certain classes within England and all of that good stuff, right? I'm not a politics man. I never am. I'd go out now and tell you I don't vote. I've never voted, and I
Say,
the only time I was ever really push to possibly do it was when the Brexit decision came up, but even then I didn't.
yeah,
And I I'm well aware because of that, because I don't have a say, right? And that's okay too, because actually I sort of, as much as I said I wouldn't save anyone else, I sort of trust the majority to make right decisions. I don't know why though. It seems like a very misplaced loyalty to
yeah.
just go, yeah, maybe if I don't vote, everyone else will get it right anyway. Like that's a
It'll work
weird
out.
thing, isn't it? That's a really weird thought, actually.
Yeah, of course. And it is, mate. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I probably know more about American politics than I do with our own politics because, and I don't know if it's the way that they do it, but look, we won't get into it too much. But look at
No, we won't. You're right.
look how Trump done it. Let's just look at it that he didn't go onto the news. He rarely went to rallies. He went to podcasts. He went to where it's at. It's not fake. It's raw, and it's close to reality as you can get.
It's not rocket science though, is it? Like, and if like we said, right, this comes with this, like I said, a disclaimer alert. We are not politicians. We know nothing.
No, we
But
don't.
it's really, really simple when you really look at it, right? What is Donald Trump? He's a businessman.
Yes.
What do businessmen do? They win at all costs,
Yeah.
right? So it's not a shocker, and it certainly did not fucking it didn't break my world when I found out he'd got back into power or been voted in or whatever. Because in actuality, like you've just said there, he doesn't play by the same rules as the fucking politicians play by because he's not a
No.
politician. Like that's no
Literally
so
not.
fight fire with fire. Like and it unfortunately you see the same thing going on here, right? When you look at like Britain in particular, is it's archaic. You know, we've got a monarch, we've got a royal family, like and people come and they look at this big fucking Buckingham Palace in London and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, it's amazing." But actually, when you look at the outside's opinions and views on Britain as it is now, but everyone thinks that we're fucking weird,
Wrong
not
ones.
brushing teeth, crumpet eating,
Yeah.
like fucking wrongins. And you go, well, yeah, you can see why they think that though,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, because it's actually in actuality, regardless of how switched on or intelligent or whatever we do in this world, the famous people of this world are like that. You look at like I was speaking to so at my last job I had quite a close friend I worked with for quite a long time. He was in the marketing department. His name was Andy, and he was American. He was from Boston, and he's lived in America now longer than he lived in. He's lived in the UK longer than he lived in
Yeah.
America now, yeah. But he's still got a really strong Boston accent because they are just so like the accent's crazy over there, and he still is all of his family live over there, and then he's got a missus and a child over here. And he said, still now, after being here for over 20 years, his definition of British people is exactly what I've just described.
Yes.
Like that, we just all we do is perpetuate this old world view of Britain. You know, like wherever you go in London, it's old buildings and it's tea and it's full English breakfasts and it's crumpets and shit. And you just think, well, yeah, maybe we are fucking. I don't know.
We're a
Do
bit
we really
grimy
deserve
though.
anything? Yeah,
Bit
it
grimy.
seems that way, doesn't it? It does
Yeah.
seem that way. But yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I certainly don't waste my time with things I don't know enough or I don't know enough about, should I say? But yeah, it was not a shocker to me whatsoever that that man had been voted in
No.
again. Mainly because he just says the right things as well. Like you just like people. I saw somewhere. I saw it might have been a TikTok post. They were talking about how one of his mandates or whatever once he got into power again, or if he did get into power again, that is that he would basically charge Mexico 25% for anything that had been mislabeled when it was coming in from a an immigration. So whether that be food, drink,
Yeah.
people, or whatever, it's like, right, okay, well, we're docking you 25% of the money you make from any of the business over here. And now all of a sudden the immigration office in Mexico and the border have all gone, oh, I think we're gonna have to tighten up now. Of course people would go, yeah, we want that. Do you know what I mean? Again, it's not rocket science, and you sort of think, why have people not done that in the past? So yeah, I don't know whether what I know he stands for stuff that I don't agree in. I know that
Well,
because that's just the way it is, right? We can't have our cake and eat it too. You have to have pros and cons of
yeah.
things, but also I'm definitely a big advocate for change. I want things to change, and whether that be, unfortunately, when you ask for change, you don't always get change for the best.
No.
You might get change for the good, you might get change for the worse, right? But there's nothing worse than standing still.
Yeah.
And if you vote for the same old people doing the same old things, you'll get the same old results, and that's standing still in my books.
And the famous line from Mr. Donald Trump is, unfortunately, in all world politics, it's always a two-horse race. Never changes.
Oh, that's very
It's
interesting.
true.
So we've got obviously gone off on a bit of a tangent there,
Massive
but
on a tangent. There was so much other things that I was expecting to be talking about. But politics, I know so little about.
yeah, well, that's what happens when you freestyle stuff,
Yeah, of
right?
course it is.
So you mentioned like the escape thing, right? So we are going right back now because this is something I sort of latched onto earlier, and that's like the escape of gaming.
Yeah.
So do you play any other games? GTA.
Yeah, 5M.
I've never played any of those role playing things.
Do you know what? I got to be me because me knowing me, I'm such a character. Me just being me was enough. It was entertaining, and people could capsulate that. You know, you look at the minute. You know, there's a few streamers that are out there at the minute that are posting, and they've got Timmy clips that are all just getting posted. daft little things in the background of what I say, what I do, how I react.
I see JD's latched onto that pretty quick, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, and the thing is, it's good content.
Yeah, but how do you feel about not like look, we love JD, right? This
Yeah, we love
channel, we
JD.
love
Yeah,
JD.
of course we do.
Um, JD, of course, has a really niche, has a quite a niche way of creating content, which actually is the people that he plays with. So it's not always necessarily him as much as it is the things that
Yeah,
people he plays with says and does, right? So how do you feel about he's getting the views,
yeah,
right? Or some of which may be lots. I don't know what the analytics
yeah.
looks like, but that could be you.
It could be, but and this is going back to your question before. I'm quite happy being in the shadows. You know, whether that whether that changes later down the line, because like you say about that publicity, like him clipping that stuff and him putting it out there, people are gonna be like, okay, and if it develops into something, great. But there's that behind where it's like, oh, that's fishy. Oh, that's Tim. Like it's already built there because they've seen them daft little snippets, daft little clips, which have already built that essentially that audience already there. Like it's as much as yourself. You watch other people stream when they're playing with people that you want to watch as well, and that's all in one place. That's mint because
Yeah, it's
you're
ideal, isn't it?
getting everything in one spot.
Yeah, I get it. I sort of feel like I've actually I don't think I've yet to play with JD. Funnily enough, but I would like to. I just know. Actually, no, I have played with him a couple of times because he fucking clipped about the pot noodle thing.
Yeah,
Geese is just like he's just such a master. Do you know what I was going to say then? Master
yeah.
baitman.
He comes into a situation and makes you look bad.
Yeah, fucking idiot as well. Dummy. But yeah, but yeah, you're right. There's definitely he's that again probably comes down to this whole when people are good for the streaming world, when they can do it, and he definitely has an eye. He definitely has like a mind for good content, which is really nice actually. Because when I first saw him ever, I as I'm sure you probably aware anyway, like I'm always in the shadows. I'm always watching. Like I'm always in
Yeah,
TikTok streams. Somewhere along the line, I'm fucking there because I know I've caught you out. You've been in other streams. You go, oh, I fancy seeing you here.
yeah,
I'm always there. I'm always watching someone. Quite often, I do it now from a fucking like a fake name account because I just don't want people to see Jenny Melts. I've seen a number of people go, "Oh, Jenny Melts is here," and then you go, "Okay, well, cover's blown," So I quite often will just bomb around on a user account or whatever. But my first seeing of JD, I actually genuinely thought like watching him play the game was quite boring, but him interacting and having those sort of little tidbits and fucking trying to wind up your mate enough to get him to blow and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, that's really funny because you don't see it a lot, not really, not in like the TikTok sphere. So I genuinely think he is doing something quite well. Have you known JD for a little while, or is it something that's quite
no.
recently, like quite recent?
Originally, I didn't stumble across JD. I stumbled across another lad that was streaming, which was called Angry Ads.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah, yeah,
I stumbled across ads, and I don't know what it was about him, but I clicked with it straight away. I was like, "This is me." The hype,
yeah,
the aggression, the kickoffs. Jimmy loves that. I was on that because what I put in chat matched his energy. So
yeah.
it was accepted, and I was like, "This is mint." But as all stories go, there's always a twist and a turn in the roads. And I'll never bad talk a streamer, but I didn't fall in love with his content anymore.
I don't think he streams anymore, or he does, but
He's knocked it on the head. He's knocked it on the head. And I don't know the personal reasons on why he's done it or what he's done it and why and all this kind of stuff. But I just I just didn't enjoy the content anymore. But
yeah,
I enjoyed JD's. So obviously I jumped aboard the JD ship and I've been there ever since. And obviously it's developed over time. But obviously I used to play with ads, which then JD would play with ads, and we sort of met that way. And then obviously I started watching him stream as well, because obviously I wasn't playing, bit of FOMO, feeling left out. I
yeah,
watched him
yeah.
stream so I could be a part of it and still have a laugh with the boys. And then it's resulted in us playing like nearly 5 days a week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's class. can't
But
escape
that's
that.
truly like right there is the power of it, right? Like that's the allure. Like what you've just described there is exactly why I believe gaming in particular is one of the best things that has ever come from anything
It is.
that's ever happened. You know, like the ability to be able to pull people together that in actuality you would have never have had a chance of meeting ever before, right? Like ever. Like if you look at like me and you now, you live in fucking County Durham, Tim.
Yeah,
Like I live it. Like, I couldn't get further away from you unless I lived in the south of
yeah,
France. Do you know what I mean? And we're now sat here. We're almost an hour in, and we're conversing away, and that's through the power of games.
yes,
So I do think that there's such a power. It's such a powerful thing, and I do. Excuse me. I do love it, and I think it's fucking awesome. And I also love that wherever you go, it's the fucking wet fishy, it's the Timmy, and you are
yeah.
yourself. Because actually, there's something, and it's mad props to you. There's something to be said for someone that's just the same all the time. Because actually, in this day and age, we don't have it
We
anymore.
don't.
You know, people are chameleons. People change in front of everyone else, and they might not even do it consciously. You know, people sometimes you'll see someone, maybe it's in a social setting, maybe it's on a stream or whatever. It could be anywhere,
Yeah,
but actually they change the way that they
of
act, the
course.
way that they are, the way that they say things because they don't think that it's accepted where they currently are. You
Yeah,
know, and that's actually really important that you're not that person at all, which is a really nice thing.
yeah. But this is where I think we click so well because you're like that as well.
I am, yeah, all the time, like and relentlessly too. You know, like we talked about it being a nice thing, but also it has got me in so much shit. Of course, it
Yeah,
has. You know, like
I've lost so
yeah,
so
just
much
being
vodka.
just being like, and I used to think it was just me being the I want to say the arsehole. It's not really descriptive enough. Just me being the contrarian, you know. Like sometimes it's even now, still to this day, I'd like to think of myself as quite emotionally intelligent and aware. You know, I certainly am quite switched on, but it's only because I've tried to educate myself
Yeah,
through the years. But I am well aware that sometimes I have this fucking fire in my soul that goes, I'm going to be the dickhead here.
yeah,
You know, I can feel it in my bones. But actually, that doesn't come from anything other than I just think that I'm on a righteous path of just having constants. And most of the time, it's about the truth. You know, I my stream is built around truths. It's that we're not here to blow smoke up each other's ass. We're not here to lie and fucking whatever else it may be. It's okay that you're not the best, or it's okay that you've had a shit day. It's okay that it didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. It's all okay. We just don't, let's not fucking make airs and graces about it. Let's just get on with it, you know?
yeah, yeah. 100%, 100%.
Mm.
And that's
Well,
like you say, that's the great thing about the gaming side of it.
yeah, well, I think like for me, like that's why I asked you about if you play any other different games because although I've boxed myself in, and I would use that term as well, which is quite negative, but it's the truth. Although I've boxed myself in when it comes to content creation, really, you know, I've tried to play other games on stream. I've tried creating content over other games. Some stuff lands,
Yeah,
little bits here and there, you know, other stuff. Like a lot of the time it doesn't. You know, I play horror games probably once or twice a month now with another creator called Task Force Wazza, which I'm sure you've seen knocking around in the
yeah,
streams. He's a great guy, really nice guy, but he's definitely talk about opposites attract. He's definitely the polar opposite.
yeah.
You know, he's very quiet. He's
He
very
has the
demure.
streamer's voice though.
A streamer's voice.
Yeah, he's got the streamer's voice.
What's the streamer's
I don't
voice?
know, but you know when
Come on, you can't say shit like that and not have a
no,
definition
right.
for it.
I'll be straight up honest, right? So we've been playing a couple of games. You might have seen it recently with JD, with a lad called Big E. He's a 17-year-old kid from Essex, right? He has, and when we're on, you just need to listen to Big E's voice. He has,
Yeah,
mate. He's got like a £15 mic. It's nothing special. It's none of
yeah,
this daft stuff we've got here.
yeah.
But he has, essentially, it's encapsulating voice. It's smooth. It's right, and it's clear. I don't know.
A voice for radio. It's the golden
Yeah, the
voice. That's
golden
what they
voice.
would call it.
It's
Yeah.
only a face a mother could love, but but yeah,
Sure, he'd love
yeah.
that.
Honestly, you know what? Like he's got the voice for it. Where some people,
Yeah, I get it.
it's a bit like Joe Wiley, just gets on your tits, mate.
Joe Wiley.
Oh, it's like I'm there, I'm just like, come on, please.
That's so. That's such like you've got. That's such a weird name for you to pull out. Like I fucking hate Joe Wiley.
Yeah, it's. Do you know
How
what?
strange.
Probably a great woman, but a voice.
I get what you mean, though. I do get what you mean. Of course, I do. Like the whole idea of like it's. I think if you let's go back to your original one, Tim the Tatman. Tim the Tatman's voice is very golden.
Yeah,
Like if you he's got like he's almost got like an announcer's voice. He sounds like fucking Bruce Buffer in some respects.
pretty
You know,
much.
he's very
Yeah,
yeah, and I think it's probably not something that we've ever really spoken about on this podcast. Actually, is that try as hard as you may sometimes, whether you really want to be a content creator or a streamer or whatever else. Actually, sometimes people are just naturally more gifted than you are. You know, they've got an acumen, whatever that may be. I think you don't have to have all of them, but yeah, I definitely would say that there's an element, and I've not really thought about it. It's weird that you've brought it up, but it's true
yeah,
that there is certainly an element of having the right voice, which is really weird, but it's
it
true.
does.
It is
And
true.
a key person for that is Huskus, mate. He doesn't have the voice,
Yeah,
doesn't have the looks, but he's got the gameplay,
he's fucking good.
and he is
He
good.
is really
He is
good.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's got it.
you're right. You are right.
He's got
Yeah,
it.
that is weird, isn't it? Actually, I wonder if there is any way that you could, if there's any streamer out there that would tick all. I don't think there is any streamer out there that would tick all the boxes. Not like, I mean, if there was this weird fake chart that we could all fill out on what we thought would be the best, I don't think there's any one streamer that fits all of those. And actually, I'd go as far to say I think that a lot of streamers are probably very vastly different, but
Yeah,
they all have one of those,
yeah.
whatever that may be, you know?
But have you noticed? And this is something that I like to bring up when I talk to people that do stream. Is it's very hard for the EU side of things to become successful. It's a lot harder for the grind to get success.
Yeah, I don't know why though.
I know exactly why. I've sussed it
Why?
out. I have found
Go
the
on.
algorithm. No, so what
He's in the
the
Matrix. He's Neo.
the, the NA side of things, it's their time zone. They have the perfect time zone for it because they're so flip sided over there. One half can be watching them whilst they're at work or when they've finished work, sorry, and then the other half aren't. But then over in the UK, we finish graft, we jump straight online, and it's there. And they're streaming when we're chilling, when we're getting ready for bed, and that's
Yeah.
they're there. They're there for us.
Yeah, so you're almost saying then that like for you to be just spitballing here, but if you were to be a UK content creator and a UK streamer and to make it you have to crack the US market first because then they would be the opposite, right? Because when you're getting that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that's like that is God's honest truth. That's how I see it now. Is I'm like the only way to be is to be on their time zone to hit their market first, and then fly over that kind of way because
So I've never tried.
you'll struggle this side. You'll massively
I've never tried to even stream to America. Like I've never even. I don't
off the top of
like.
your head. Can you name three top UK streamers?
I can name only but right. So I can name UK streamers. I wouldn't call them top. Like, and I mean like you said when we really look at it, the top streamers for me are the Z Laners, Doctor Disrespects, the Bobby Poffs,
Yeah,
the Tim the Tatman. Like you're right, you are right. I would like the biggest Nick Merckx, another one. You know, the
yeah,
biggest streamers in the world are American. Yeah, I think you're right. And I actually yeah, and when I look at or when I think about content creators in the UK that I've grown up watching, you know, and actually a lot of the UK content creators I grew up watching don't do it anymore.
yeah.
If I'm deadly honest with you, like when you look at if I think about some of the ones that I would watch, I don't know, 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, that sort of era, you know, which I would consider to be the golden era of COD, by the way, like the COD 4s, the COD 5s, the Modern Warfare 2s, that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't think there's any really that I could say to you are still content creating now and doing it to that level and continue doing it throughout. I don't think there is.
I genuinely can't think of anyone, and
That's weird, isn't
it's
it?
open market.
So I was doomed from the start. Then I shouldn't have even bothered.
Yeah, we're all doomed unless
Okay.
you're gonna jump ship, which unfortunately I don't think any of us are doing that anytime soon.
No,
But
I don't think
it
so.
is what it is.
I've never even tried to stream to like the US either. Really, like I've never like I don't. What time would you even have to start to do that? And then because I suppose if you stream from what is it like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock our time is a sort of normal time for that, but it's morning there, isn't it? And they're going to work, so it'd have to be like 8 hours. Now you probably have to start midnight-ish, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, probably when they're all jumping on, when obviously
Yeah.
the NA streamers are coming on. Because North America is obviously the key point. You know, it,
Why North America?
I don't know. I just think it's more populated in that aspect of it. You know,
Maybe.
it's obviously Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, Z-Laner, they're all North
Are
American.
they all not? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because Z-Lane is Canadian, isn't he?
Uh, yeah, is he?
I don't
You know
know.
what? I think I'm getting Z-Laner.
But that is North America, though, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Canada is North
Yeah,
America, so yeah.
it's that time zone. It seems to be, as you would say, it's the golden hour. It seems to be where it's at.
Hmm.
But
Interesting.
very interesting. I've got to ask you a question though, Jen.
Go on.
Everyone keeps asking, and everyone will come on your stream and say it to you. But JD obviously has sort of somewhat jumped over to it as well. Black Ops 6. Come on, I need. What's your back? What's your feeling? What about it?
Oh, it's such a it's such a difficult.
It's like an annoying child
It,
that you have to love.
yeah, yeah. It's like it's your little brother, isn't it? Like it's fucking annoying. It's annoying for me because actually, on the face of it, on paper, when you look at it, I think this has been the best Call of Duty launch from at least in the last 10 years, at least.
60%
Right,
increase.
say that 60% increase. What, in player base on the first day, you
For
mean?
Steam sales on any Call of Duty, Battle.net
Yeah,
sales,
don't
and
surprise me.
also obviously the Game Pass.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Like I actually, like I said, I got it. I changed everything to New Zealand, played it 12 hours early or whatever, right? So I was playing it Thursday afternoon or Thursday ish
Yeah,
afternoon, morning, whatever. And when it hadn't been populated by what I can only describe are the fucking troves of sweaty, horrible bastards that the UK seems to bring out in multiplayer, it actually was, I would say, probably in my top, probably at least my top five. Like, I think the game itself is really good. And what I mean by game itself, I mean gunplay is fucking awesome. I think the balancing of most of the maps is pretty good. I think some of the maps themselves are a little bit, but then Call of Duty is free lane maps. It's always been free lane maps. However big you want it, or however fucking small
yeah,
you want it, it's free lanes, right? So yeah, I think the game itself, gunplay, maps could probably do with a little bit more. I think the perks are really good. I think the guns at the moment seem really balanced. I think we'll always find a meta,
yeah, of
right?
course
I
you will.
think,
Yeah,
of course you will. That's the way that this works, and I'm sure we're on the, well, what are we, 2 days out from the Warzone integration,
yeah,
and we, of course, will. I'm sure in a week's time, this opinion will change
drastically.
vastly. Yeah, but as launch goes, it was the most complete, well put together, thought out Call of Duty that we've had in 10 years
Yeah,
or more.
and I would strongly agree with that.
My
Strongly agree.
problem my problem is we don't live in an age now where, regardless of how good a Call of Duty is, multiplayer and all of your camera grinds and that, it doesn't satisfy the hunger of the troves of people anymore. Like I've seen myself to be, fundamentally, I've always seen myself as a multiplayer player because that's what I started. Right, I was playing Call of Duty when there was no such thing as fucking battle, or certainly wasn't in the UK. Right, you like it was 3 kill streaks, UAV, fucking airstrike and chopper. I was playing Call of Duty when they didn't have a creator class. Do you know what I mean? Like you were just fucking, you had 5 classes, sniper, recon, whatever. And that was enough then.
Yeah,
I don't think it's enough now. And we're following the same pattern that of course, most of these Call of Duties have followed, right? You've got, there's only ever really 2 or 3 major changes that they make in these games. They seem to have hit the nail on the head right now. You know, the cartoon type arcade style sound seems good. We're still doing what Call of Duty always does, and it's implementing old maps because people think it's nostalgic. When in actuality, Nuketown for me is probably one of the worst maps that Call of Duty's ever created. Like, and I'm gonna say it, and I know that's a really fucking hot take, and people won't like it. But let's
opinion.
like, yeah, but fuck me. Let's have a conversation. It's dog shit. Like, it's not a good map. It just barely satisfies that free lane.
Yeah,
even then it's not really like you've got people at the moment like I'm sure you've seen the Tim the Tapman video where he's just fucking rested on a door and firing
Firing
through
through.
two
Yeah,
buses. Like, dude, like we can't. Why are we still now in 2024 putting all of this money, effort, resource, and energy into essentially reskins of most
yeah,
things, but overlaying it with really good gameplay, really good gunplay, and a really good perk system, but still just falling short of the mark when it comes to if you just actually just invested a bit more time into creating some of the maps on there I really
yeah, yeah.
like the oh, what's the fucking there's a house that it basically it feels like a smaller version of Estate from Modern Warfare 2.
Right, okay.
It's like a country house. I can't remember what it is. It's a bit of a smaller map, but it's fucking awesome. You've got like underneath the house, you can go through like the living quarters, like the staff bit. You've got the greenhouse on the right hand side, or on the left hand side, it's basically just a fucking sheer cliff. So you can't really push
Yeah,
through that
yeah,
unless you push back into the house. You know, like there's maps like that that they've obviously really thought about, and then there's maps like Nuketown, which obviously is dog shit. Then maps like Stakeout, which fucking hell, mate. Whose idea was it to make these 2v2 maps and then go, do you know what? Let's put 10 of them on there. Fuck it. I don't get it.
Nuketown back in the days was a great map to end your 1v1s, just like Rust.
Yeah, fucking right. But that's all
Yeah,
it's for.
you finish the game, you shit talk at the end or between each round if you're on search and destroy, and then you would say 1v1 me then, bro,
Yeah, let's get it.
and that's how you laid it,
Yeah,
and
that's it.
they were the ideal maps for it, doing your trick shots. But yeah, chucking 5v5 into such a dynamic map like that, like the thing that winds me up so much with multiplayer was why I don't play the multiplayer and I only play search and destroy core is
Yeah.
the spawn flips.
Oh, atrocious.
It's the amount
Atrocious.
of times I spawn in and it's like boom dead, boom dead, boom dead, boom dead, and I'm like, really? Yes, sound alt F4C in a bit.
Yeah, ta I think like that's something that's really lost. Like and the other thing I think we have to probably put a bit of respect to is that I don't know how old you are, Tim. Right? I'm 29. I started playing Call of Duty, like I said, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 4 for me, like I said, was mine. I loved it. 10th Prestige, smash the ass out of it. Search and Destroy, like you just said, I was a massive Search and Destroy player, still am to this day. And it's Call of Duty worked for me because there was a science to it. What I mean by that is you could play Call of Duty 4 and play it so much that you know where they're coming from, you know where they're going to go because there's only so many different ways that they can do it because the maps were designed like that. We now look at the likes of fucking Stakeout, for example, which by the way, although I know it serves a purpose in terms of this fucking horrendous camo grind, right? We've got to get as many headshots as
Yeah,
possible. But people are spawning in like box toilets, and there's like four of them. And the only way that they can get out of that box room, cloakroom toilet is moving forward into the biggest firing range of two guys sat on either end, resting their LMG with 150 rounds on a fucking kitchen side and just going,
yeah.
you can't move, you can't do anything. It's not Call of
No,
Duty. That's not Call of Duty, is it?
it's your spawn trap.
It's horrendous, man. It's horrendous. And I feel so strongly about it because actually, as a content creator, as someone that currently does this full time, as someone that relies on this to create an income for
Yeah,
them, you have to stay relevant and you have to play the relevant games and you have to go and play Black Ops 6. And it fucking hamstrings me. Like, I can't win because I either jump on stream and play a game that I fucking hate
yeah,
because it's going to bring 40 or 50 more people in at any one time, and they might gift, they might not, they might sub, they might not, who knows, right? Because it's not a guarantee. Or I could go and spend those 4 or 5 hours playing a game that is going to bring fucking 2 or 3 people in at any one time, but I'm going to enjoy and step off and be able to go cook dinner and enjoy my evening with my missus and all of that stuff instead of skulk around the house and sculling fucking 4 pint tins of Kronenberg because I spent the day smacking my head against a brick wall and getting talked to shit by pricks that are either in the stream or bodying me on a game.
yeah,
Like, just like where's the fun in any of it? Especially when you think that surely they should be serving. I get that they have to serve the masses, right? We have to. That's what they do. They've got to sell as many copies as possible. So give the people what they want. But where's the thought for the people that have played the game for 15 years? Like,
yeah.
like, what, surely Call of Duty wouldn't be Call of Duty if it wasn't for all of the people that bought the Call of Duty 3s, the Call of Duty 4s, the 5s, the Modern Warfare. Like, and now we're serving this world of kids that need instant gratification, so they just want to buy whatever's in the fucking
Yeah,
store. And then if they buy what's in the store, you then give them a slightly better lobby. Because I'm sure that's how it fucking works as well. I'm convinced that
pay,
if you spend money in the
definitely
store, you
pay to win. Uh,
yeah, it feels that
but
way.
I've had this conversation previously in the past. No matter how much we love, hate, and we moan about certain things that Call of Duty do, they nerf a gun, but they don't just nerf the gun; they absolutely torpedo the gun.
Are
You
they
know,
into the
gun.
floor in it?
Call of Duty will always be there, and unfortunately, you said this on your stream today. You know, soon enough, Call of Duty, Activision, Blizzard Gaming, and Treyarch, they're going to get a massive shock because someone's going to come up through the ground and
I really
they're going
hope
to say,
so.
"Oh, mate, you're going to hate it. It's never going to happen. It'll
It
never,
has to.
it'll never happen because the community on Call of Duty and gaming are so high. You know, they do what they want, and someone said it in his stream. They do what they want, how they want, when they want, whether you like it, you don't like it, and they know they can do that, and they lead the market. Unfortunately, Call of Duty is a fantastic game. Whether from the first game to the last game, you can't really say there was a bad Call of Duty that more than 50% would agree with you on. Call of Duty has
No, of course.
definitely been a mint game, and it's always had such a great hype. Whether that's from the updates, what they're releasing, and the way they're going to do the game, but Call of Duty have got it. This is their market, and they have monopolized that market. And it was a game that literally got released what 3 months ago. How's that worked out? You know, Timber
I,
Tap
I,
done a big thing on it. He got it got released that he got paid.
what's that off grid?
That was it, yeah, $60,000 or something to run it for a week.
Yeah,
Where's the game now? I've not seen anyone streaming it.
I get it. I get it. And of course, I would be naive and I would be very stupid to say that Call of Duty will never not be relevant
Yeah,
because of course it will. They're gargantuan, right? They are the
yeah,
biggest
of course.
that in the game.
Yeah,
Of course they are. But if history has taught us anything, it's that whatever may seem like is the biggest and gargantuan now doesn't mean that it's guaranteed in the future.
no,
What I mean by that is in 2020, there was no war zone, right? And the biggest, in my mind, the biggest battle royale game at the time, up until that point, could we probably agree that maybe was Fortnite?
uh, yeah, PUBG.
In PUBG, another one. Yeah, fair point,
Yeah,
fair point. PUBG, I think PUBG obviously were, I think PUBG were more PC,
yeah,
right? And then Fortnite was definitely a more of a
yeah,
console
console.
focused.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So and forgive me because in I didn't have a PC up until February this year, so a lot of my stuff is still called console, right? But I don't think for one second that Call of Duty will never not be relevant. But what I know to be true is that you never know what comes around the corner. And you're right, there are, of course, if we look, if I all I see is this image in my head, right, of Call of Duty being this big bad bully in a high school, right, somewhere, and then like behind him is just a trail of all of these games that have been beaten the fuck out of, like off the grid. It's
yeah,
just like just
really.
crumpled up in the bin, like yeah, like and I understand that we live in a world at the moment where Call of Duty seems like it can't be beaten off the top. But I just know that, as with every industry, if you even take it out of the gaming, right, anything that looks like it's got a monopoly soon will be toppled over because people don't like to see a monopoly on things. And I don't know whether that happens in the next year. I don't know if it happens in 2 years. I don't know if it happens in 4 years. I hold out hope that Battlefield come along and really start trying to compete somewhere along the line because I fucking love Battlefield. But I also hold out hope that there'll be this weird niche little fucking idea that pops up out of nowhere that starts taking, I don't know, 20% of the player base, 30% of the player base. And then like slowly but surely other games start seeing, hang on, maybe we could do something. And I look, maybe again, it's just this whole like backing of the dark horse, just wanting to see the little guy win.
Yeah,
I I truly do believe that we will see other games start to contend. But you're right. For the moment and for now, they can do what they want when they fucking
yeah,
want. But surely to God, somewhere along the line, there must be some power in the people. If for example, if Call of Duty decided next year that well, they almost did it, didn't they? They said they weren't going to release another one. They were going to have a 2 year cycle,
yeah,
right? and then that didn't go. I wonder why that didn't happen. I imagine
In
because they know
18
that they can
months, they
make more
released
money.
2 games.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
That's it. We're not going to release a game. In 18 months, they released two. But,
Yeah,
which if we all look at it, and I don't know how clued up you are on that side of it, but
it was basically the same. It wasn't
Modern
a
Warfare,
game,
Modern
was it?
Warfare 1, sorry,
2019,
Warzone, yeah, 2019, fantastic.
really good, really
It
good.
landed at the perfect time. World pandemic,
Yeah, it did.
it landed
Yeah, yeah,
perfectly. And I met so many great people along the journey through that because
yeah,
Warzone got me through a lot of it,
yeah,
having that structure and playing that game. So then when they put a spin on it and said, we're doing it again, we're revamping it, we're doing this. Every time you speak to anybody that is from 2019 Warzone, the first thing they say when Warzone is landing and the updates are coming is Verdansk's coming back. So
yeah,
now, in any sort of gamer that played it from 2019, they will have that encryption inside them now of Warzone Verdansk. It'll always
yeah.
be a part of them. And as time's going on, Warzone, because what are we on now? We're Warzone 3. So Warzone 2 wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be a game. Modern Warfare wasn't meant to be a
No.
game. It was meant to be a DLC. But they tweaked because we whinged and we moaned. They tweaked little bits and bobs. We done this, that, and the other to the point where they changed the update that much that they had to release it as a game. And that's why they
Yeah.
released it. Obviously, 18 months later was because they had to release it as a game. They couldn't do it as a
But that just goes to show, right? Like, if there was 1 ounce of that was because the people moaned and groaned, that actually, if we really put our heads together as a community and decided that we didn't want, um, I don't know. There's many things that I find egregious in this Call of Duty as it stands at the moment. One of the biggest ones for me is this introduction of an enhanced headphone mode.
yeah.
Right? Is like you can pay whatever it is, £16 a month or whatever to increase the audio in game. That's fucking ludicrous, isn't it? Like, are we like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm an advocate, as we've mentioned earlier, about technology and introducing it. I have multiple different bits of technology in my life that make my life easier and make it more fun and all of that good stuff. I just go and buy a better headset. Like, and I don't see anything wrong with
Yeah,
that. But starting to introduce it into a game now where effectively you're saying to someone, if you don't pay for this extra thing on a monthly basis, which is £16, which, by the way, is like some people pay their phone contracts for 16 quid.
yeah,
They might want to be on a similar, like this is some like £16 that could be spending elsewhere, recurring, by the way. And if this continues into the next COD and the next COD and the next COD, this is a gold mine
of
opportunity,
course.
right? Because if you've got even if you've got 100 people that play for, which we know, by the way, that's times 10 and then times it by a million. There's how many other fucking people playing
Yeah,
Call of Duty. And if, let's say, 80% of them decide that yes, we want that extra, that better audio and stuff, the amount of money that they could generate. I know it's a third party company, but let's say like Microsoft then go, well, we've bought fucking Activision or Blizzard or whatever. Why not go buy this business as well? Because then it's just another revenue bit, right? So they go and buy this business that specializes in this enhanced headphone, and then they generate enough revenue just off of selling the £16 a month that they could go and create another fucking 4 or 5 Call of Duty games a year, because the amount of money that they could pay just
yeah.
people to be there and create, like, where does it stop? Where's the line that then someone goes, this is enough now?
Going back to what we said before, it's pay to win.
It's fucking
Every game
horrendous.
is like that now. You look at the Fortnite games, the Battlefield games. You look at every single game. It is a pay to win game. Unfortunately, if the game is free, if you can get a free option on that game, it is a pay to win game. It's guaranteed. And unfortunately, the way that COD sort of fell downhill was when they released Warzone because it's a free to play game. It then they thought, well, we're not getting any money from this. Well, how do we? Right, okay, let's release a gun that shoots magic little bullets that makes you cry, but 3 of those bullets will down and out you. Right, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Let's put it at the store. How much? I don't know. 2,400 tokens. Yes, sound. How much is that?
Yeah.
16.99. Perfect. Yeah, because let's be honest. When we played those games before, you look back at the old, like going back to the original Modern Warfare, you couldn't buy a gun in store, and you couldn't use. There was no meta. You either
No.
gelled with a gun or you didn't gel with a gun.
Yeah, and you could run around Verdansk as well. I was having this conversation with one of my best mates actually from home, who still plays now, but not enough. Not well. It would never be enough in my eyes because he needs to be with me every day. But he used to bomb around, and he was saying with the kilo and a rocket launcher.
Yeah,
Like, and that, like, that's not like you imagine that now, just an assault rifle and a rocket
yeah,
launcher, what, and like be genuinely effective. Like, it just seems fucking mad, right? Now, like, you have to have a fucking AR, and if you're bombing around an SMG plus fucking stuns and everything else, he literally was just bombing around with a kilo and a fuck, and he used to sit on a quad bike, the back of a quad bike, and and like I think that was just the allure, right? Is that you were in this world where, like, remember a very early Verdansk, you had C4s that you could lob basically the length of a fucking five-a-side football pitch, easy, and blow up everything within a 30-mile
yeah.
radius
You
with
load it
it.
up on a drone, each foot,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stick a claymore on it as well. You could
So
always
fucking
bend that into
stupid.
someone.
Yeah, and I like those for me, like that. Yeah, you're right. I think I'm almost living in the past, right? It's like this whole idea of like I fell in love with that, and that's what I really want. But actually, we are so far removed from that
Yeah,
now. Like, we are nowhere near that. Like, Warzone as it stands right now, like, I jumped on and played, obviously, what, 4 hours, 5 hours today, and I haven't really had a proper session of Warzone in ages, in all fairness. And I enjoyed it to a certain degree, but I'm still playing Fortune's Keep, which has been around basically on and off for the last 2 years or whatever. Fucking Rebirth Island, which I don't really like Rebirth Island. I know some people do, or a lot of people do, and I'm sad that they're keeping that in the rotation for the new Warzone because they've confirmed that.
yeah,
I think that's a really bad idea. Mainly because if you're introducing this new map, right? Surely we shouldn't have the option to play the map that we've had all of this
yeah,
time, and then sometimes play that one. Like, just give us that map and then that's map, or give us all of the maps
yeah.
that we've ever had, and then let us choose that way. Why can we only choose between one that a lot of people don't like and a lot of people do like, and then one new one that no one knows about? I just don't get it.
It's like anything though. Like they'll chuck something out to distract you, but realistically, the point is, why can't we have solos, duos,
Oh,
squads? Why can't
dude,
we
what
just
is
do
that
it?
about? What is that
It's
about?
control.
Yeah, yeah, I know, and you're such a conspiracy theorist too, but it feels that way,
It's
doesn't it?
control, but we still play it, and
Well,
it's
yeah, because we've got nothing
yeah,
else to play.
it is annoying in that sort of aspect of it, but I don't know. There's something about it. It's they will literally do what they want. And I just
Oh, it's so
I'm
depressing.
somewhere over in the Blizzard game, and they're sat there, and they just sat around the table, chopping a ball up in the air, going, "What can we do to piss them off next? Hellfire shotguns. Let's do that."
Oh,
You know,
duffs are
just
the
yeah,
worst, aren't they?
like we all know. I have an inner hatred for it, not because I get killed by them. It's because I can't fucking use them.
Yeah.
I try and try and try, and I cannot fucking use them.
Yeah, I think, but then, like, I wish, I don't know, like, part of me sort of thinks it's good that there's an element of skill that people can't use, because, like, someone like yourself, for example, who is a fucking demon anyway, please don't put duffs in his hands. Like, we can't, then we just wouldn't be getting anything done, would
No,
we? Because it'd just be far worse for everyone else. And I do sort of, I wish that that's why I still use the car, by the way, the car 98, because I'm a
that's
demon
the
with
other thing,
it.
though, isn't
But
it? It's a one-shot headshot at the minute.
well, it's I've always fucking used it, but it's because I enjoy that there's a skill gap. Like, you have to be able to, like, with a sniper, you have to be able to hit the shot. So I mean, that's the truth of it. Whereas you got duffs, especially when the fucking Dragon's Breath, whatever it was originally, the A92 or something, like, and then you could put the fucking 25 round mag on it and just like hit fire with a laser, just go doof. It's like,
No,
fucking hell, man.
and you'd be gone.
Huh?
You'd be obliterated instantly. There was nothing. You couldn't even react to it, and you were out.
No,
And yeah,
no, I feel that way about the DTIR at the moment, though. Like, I still think that's way too overpowered. Like,
yeah,
I multiple times today where I did not have an opportunity to be able to react. It was just either top chest or headshots, and I'm game over.
yeah,
Like, I can't do anything with it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I can relate to that. Obviously, I've been running on the main account recently, and I've struggled with it because I didn't have the DTIR. I had it ranked up for some reason. It was ranked up, but it was locked. I didn't have it unlocked on the battle pass. So I was like, right, okay, that's mint. So
yeah,
I've obviously been running the AwEtFiShY account, and I was just running it, and I was like, STG, and it was frying. But you go to the range, 4 plates. It was a Three plate
Yeah,
shots,
yeah.
8 bullets, it was a down. And you're right, okay,
But the range is still fucked though.
yeah.
I don't think the range is an accurate representation
No, it's
at
not
all.
because I can go in there with every gun in the game, and unless it's meta's doing it in 6 shots. Every other gun that's in there is doing it in 8. But when I'm inside the war zone, I'm hitting them shots, and I'm not going
And it's
down.
not. No, it's not. It's not doing it,
No,
is
I
it?
was running the. I keep getting whinged after saying it, but the Latchman, or as
Yeah.
JD and Arky like to say, the Lockman. But yeah, it's definitely the
Who
Latchman.
cares?
So I was running that because it was like using the growl again. It was like going back, like say to 2019. It was like I wanted the growl. So
The growl was good as
yeah,
well. The growl was really good. Do you remember there was like a was it the R700? It wasn't called the R700, but it was a hit scan sniper. And literally at any range, you're talking like 1800 meters out, there was no bullet drop. You could just put the fucking the center on their head, and it would just down them instantaneously. Do you remember that one?
see, this way you're not gonna like it. I never used snipers.
Oh, grow up. HDR was probably one of the best sniper. HDR with a thermal scope was just
I
outstanding.
was the one that would be screaming down the mic at people with shotguns and snipers, saying, "Fight me like a man." I'm fighting like a man. Let's do this bullshit. Let's
No,
go, man.
I'm sitting at prison, mate, and I'm sniping you at stadium. I do not care. I'm not interested. I'm having it off.
We're in this world at the minute with all these shotguns that are flying about. You can't fight like a man anymore because you have to stay to a sort of a medium long distance range to be able to fight
Yeah.
it where their duffs can't hit you, but you can still lay some shots on them.
Yeah, you have to fight like smart now. Like gone are the days as well. Like you know yourself, you would have had like a squad of four. Like two of those geezers probably ain't the best Call of Duty
Yeah,
players, but they're gonna run about, they're gonna do a few bits, they'll play cannon fodder, and it allows the other two to really do some work. Now, because people get bodied so quick, there's no point in having people like because you can have someone that just goes and clears an entire room in 2 seconds flat with one mag. Like it just doesn't work anymore. And I think that's probably the beauty of the game, right? Is that at least we're seeing some evolution. Because, like I said, standing still is the worst. So I would prefer change. My problem, as it's always been, I think, especially with Warzone, if we take Call of Duty and Warzone separately, as in like Black Ops 6 and Warzone separately, nothing moves fast enough. When it comes to devs, like Warzone devs just don't seem like they've got their finger on the pulse with
no, they're
anything.
chill.
Like if yeah, it just feels like they're going fucking they're almost so slow they're going backwards,
Yeah,
you know? And like you for better or for worse, regardless of whatever it may be, something happens that is quite clearly broken. Take like I think when they first released the ninja stars, the throwing stars, they were like they meant to be like two at least to down someone. When they first released them, it was a one bang, and you could hold five and just go like that. But that took months. Like, why is it taking months to try and take them out of the game? Just remove them, fix them, and then bring them back. Why are we sat here playing this game where I just can't get a word in because some geezer with ninja stars just
yeah,
stood in the
yeah.
corner?
But that because they love it. They love the way that they do it. They love it,
It's
and that's
fucking
the annoying
horrendous,
thing.
mate.
And we'll go on to like a few of the things in regards to it. The devs, people saying about what's it called now? Their anti-cheat. What's it called? I completely forgot.
Ricochet.
Ricochet is the biggest scandal in Call of Duty history
It just doesn't work.
because there isn't a thing called it.
Yeah.
Literally just went it's insane. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna give the players more power. They can do our job for us.
Bad idea.
Which
Bad idea.
which what we are since you could report and the anti-cheat was this thing that was developed, it has made COD so toxic because if you are a genuine good player, you're a cheater.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat, like doesn't matter, mate. Look how many accounts I've played on, and I've been kicked
Yeah,
off the
so
game
many.
because he's cheating, he's cheating, he's cheating. It's like, man, like really, like just get good at the game.
But you can't. But unfortunately, it comes back to that whole like they're just satiating these youngsters that. And I say youngsters as well, like it's a generational thing. I'm not entirely. I don't know whether it is or if it
Oh no, it's
isn't.
definitely the
I
youngsters,
think
mate. Yeah,
yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it? It's I don't know whether I'm saying that because I've fallen, of course, as you know, I've fallen foul to the shadow ban so many
Yeah,
times it hurts my head to even think about, right? And I truly do believe that's possibly one of the worst things that Call of Duty have ever done, is given that power to
correct.
it just doesn't make sense. Like you literally have just gone, okay, what we're gonna do is just allow all of these fucking idiots to decide whether or not someone's a cheater, and we're not even gonna double check their homework. We're just gonna go, yeah, that's okay, that's
Yeah,
fine. And further to that, for me, I felt it so strong. I felt it because it stopped me from earning money
yeah,
through no fault of my own. I was unable to play a game and keep streams going because I'd have some little fucking 2-bit Timmy that's decided that him and his other three mates that have just been absolutely bodied are now going to sit there and spam report
yeah,
me. And then further to that, put in the game chat that I'm a cheater and that everyone else has to spam report
yeah.
me
And
too.
when everyone comes across you, they just report you because they've seen it.
Oh, dude, and I can't like I've almost got a sixth sense for it now. I can tell you when I'm going to get shadowed. And I'm in games. Like I've played games with you where I'm actively not chasing, actively not
Just
pushing because I
just
know,
running.
yeah, because I know, yeah, I know I'll get shadowed. So I sit there sometimes, and that's why a lot of my content now, like you'll see, like I was playing today. I was playing with fucking Jen Warrior and Kieran. I love them both dearly, and if they ever listen to this, I'm sure they'll know this. I love them both dearly, but they're both god awful at Call of
Yeah,
Duty. But that's fine. But I play with them because I enjoy it first and foremost.
yeah,
But also, I'm not going to get myself in any fucking trouble trying to push, like, because it's then me against four players if we're playing quads anyway, because they're not getting anything done. And I had to really pivot my content, pivot my streams to try and keep off the shadow ban
yeah.
radar,
It's
which is really
it's very
hard.
hard, and unpopular opinion or not, we've done a test on it, and I've got a clip somewhere, and I'll forward you the clip. So we went into a
Please.
game, we got team wiped instantly, and me and my boys sat there, and we went, right, let's see how strong this shadow banning is. We sat there and spam reported 4 teams out the game.
It's fucking
In one
horrendous.
game, we just sat there and just literally
That's so
sat there
shit.
and just kept reporting cheating, exploiting, and just reported it. One disappeared, two disappeared, team wipe, gone. And then we done it.
Bang
We
out baller.
knocked out 4 teams in that one game, and it was
That's
yeah.
horrendous.
It just shows you how backwards it is.
And and also, there's no, it wouldn't, it wouldn't be so bad. Although it'd be still be fucking annoying, right? Because the point is that people shouldn't be able to just decide whether or not I'm a cheater. But it wouldn't be so bad if there was a clear and efficient and concise way of being able to sort of repair that. It's not like we don't live in this world where if you get shadow banned, you can go and speak to someone, or there's like a real clear, like, okay, well, this is the 8th time you've been shadow banned in 2 months. And actually, every time there's never been any
Yeah,
sort of nefarious activity on the account, and we can see it really clearly. So, yeah, okay, maybe not a whitelist, but certainly like we've seen this guy before. Let's get him through this process quicker.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's nothing for it.
But you're going back to the whitelist that we know is a conspiracy or whatever you want to say. There is a whitelist out there, and there is.
There fucking is. There fucking is.
I don't know if you've seen the Zelena clip. He goes, right, okay, watch this dude here, and he's on live stream. He's died, and Tim's there with him, and he goes, watch this, and he reported this guy once. He was kicked from the game immediately.
Yeah, because they don't because there'll just be a list of accounts that sit on not only a whitelist, so they won't get they won't get shadow banned, but also if they just go bing,
Yeah,
that kind of cheating, he's out as well. Do you not, like, how fucking mental is it that we live in this world where businesses, like actual businesses, conglomerate businesses, have given this power to individuals that they're not even ambassadors for the game, by the way. It's not like these guys are even, I'm sure some of them are probably getting paid somewhere, but actually, is Call of Duty being that massive of a business? Is Call of Duty really going, oh, we need to pay these guys to play? Because actually, Call of Duty is so fucking well known. It's so sought after. People
yeah,
want to watch it. I'd be surprised if they're paying anyone to sit on their game. But then to give the power to those guys to go, yeah, actually do this. And then furthermore, that people like that would then abuse it and show them that that's the case as well. Like, what the fuck are we doing
it
here?
was
You
when
know?
I seen that, it was like right, men. But then You seen Charlie Intel? Do you get like bits and bobs from his stuff every now and then on the
Yeah,
updates?
sort of.
There
Yeah,
was a little
sort
little
of.
thing saying about, I know there was a video that was going viral around on the TikTok and TikTok and the EU side of things where um, cheaters would be kicked within the first 60 minutes. They would only last 5 games maximum because the AI was integrated into it and it would analyze the gameplay, know they're cheating. We all know that's a facade and it's a load of bullshit and it's never going to
Dog
happen
shit.
again.
Yeah.
Because, again, go back to conspiracies, the devs sell the scripts to the companies that buy them off them so they can make the cheap.
That's not even. Yeah. Do you know what? I believe that as
It's
well
how it
because
is.
I've.
And
Yeah, I've seen that shit. I've watched some. I've watched so many different times or so many different videos of people actively like developers saying, "Yeah, of course we do," because actually they got something to benefit from having close relationships with those cheat creators, haven't they?
yeah,
It's such so
so
backwards.
my brother, which I've told a few people before, my brother is a dev and he is an anti-cheat dev and he lived in China and that's what he did.
Oh,
And he done it for Easy Cheat, which obviously Fortnite use Easy Cheat.
okay.
So and that was his thing. And yeah, he's openly told me yes, 100%. We these companies approach us. Obviously, they're not short of a few bob. They'll pay
Yeah,
you a set amount for certain scripts. He's like, do you really think? He says, look, put it like this: this game is a multi-billion-pound game. Do you really think some guy inside a room in his house down in Scunthorpe is analyzing our scripts, finding out every single blueprint of the script, and transferring it to his cheat within 60? Well, even sometimes within the second that game's released, he's already made a cheat
yeah.
for that game. No,
No,
and
no way.
unfortunately it'll never go. Like I've noticed a lot recently. There's not been a lot in the war zone, but is that because they've transferred over? Have they moved over to Black Ops because it's the new thing? It's the fun thing to play on.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't know, but the accusation side of it, and I do hope that Call of Duty follow up on what they said. Obviously, Treyarch turned around and released a statement saying that they're gonna, if you consistently false report people, you are now
You-
also going to be punished for false reporting.
Yeah, I've heard that there's some sort of almost trust
Yeah,
system
which is
type.
great because they know themselves. Someone you get team wiped, and you're like, oh, he's fucking cheating, he's fucking cheating, and they sit and watch him. They'll drop a couple of reports on him. Nothing will happen. They'll jump onto the next game, but then it's forgotten
Yeah,
about. But
yeah. Dumb.
there needs to be that, like you say, that trust system. We need to get that sort of thing of Call of Duty evaporated, which is if you lose, maybe they're just better.
Unfortunately, this is, and I'm really going to get on a bit of my high horse here a little bit. This is this is the outcome of the way children are brought
Yeah,
up. They're not brought up anymore to know that sometimes people are better. Sometimes there's things that you just can't do. They're brought up in a world where it's like there are no winners and losers. We are all the same, and it's the taking part that counts. You can do anything in this world that you need to
yeah,
do because far be it from me or anyone else in this world to tell you that you can't. What we are seeing, although this is such a small subset, weird little circle of the internet, right? And what we're talking about in terms of Call of Duty, but actually, this is everywhere. This is in office buildings across the
yeah,
UK, across the fucking world. People that are so used to being right, people that were brought up in an environment where what they said went.
yeah,
This right here is the fucking problem with the world, not just Call of Duty, the
yeah,
fucking world. Because I sit there and talk to my sister who's 8 years younger than me. She's only 8 years younger, but she is so fucking arrogant
yeah,
because mum was always like, yeah, it's okay, babe. If that's what you think, then that's right. And you're like, but I was grew up in a world. I'm the eldest of three. My brother's 2 years younger than me. We grew up in a world where if we didn't eat our dinner, we weren't allowed away from the fucking kitchen table. You like, and you
yeah.
are a little fucker. You are a little bastard, and you may not be the best person in the world, but you're my little bastard. And there was nothing
Of
wrong with
course not.
it. But what it did was teach us really early on that actually, if you want to be good at something, if you want to succeed at something, you want to excel at something, and we said this right at the very start of this stream, this podcast today, is that you have to put 110
Yeah,
in. And if you don't put 110 in, then that's fine. But don't fucking complain and moan when someone else who has put 110 in has turned
yeah.
up and they fucking bodied you.
And this goes back to it, and I'll say it again, where pay to win always wins, unfortunately, because if they
It
don't know
just
what
because
they've
it
got,
makes money.
money gets involved, and that's how they win. And that's unfortunately the younger generation. no disrespect to them, but that's how the world is changed. If you've got money, you've got power, and yeah, and a little shit.
Sad, isn't
It
it?
is.
Well, what I'm going to do right there is, because this is the longest we've ever gone on, I'm going to stop the
Yeah,
recording, but I'm going to say goodbye to you off air. I genuinely really enjoyed
yeah,
that.
I loved it too, man. It was an experience.
Good. Normally, this is the part where I would say, well, tell people where you stream and all that good stuff. Of course, you don't yet.
Yet,
Yeah. um, but people, please do go and show Timmy some love. He has about 9 different TikTok accounts, and he is always in someone's stream somewhere along the line. He's been a fantastic. He's been a fantastic support for me. Is there anything you want to tell the people before we wrap this up?
yeah, just I don't know how to word it, but I said it to you in a message before. There's been moments where I've had some dark moments, and just turning on that stream and seeing you there, mate, has genuinely saved me and helped me through it. I've been stood there thinking that this game over, mate. And if you have that power and that ability to be able to do what you do, and being on the stream like JD himself and Arky and everyone trying to do it and everyone getting up there, you have so much power in a sense of you are someone's relief. And if you're there and you can do the time and effort to do it, stick at it because you don't know what's going on.
I appreciate you. Right, let me sign off this and then we'll say goodbye properly. But people, thank you very much for listening. I know this has been a bit of a longer one, and we certainly went on some tangents and some avenues there and all sorts of shit. But I genuinely have really enjoyed it. Thank you ever so much, Tim, for his time, and we'll tune in soon to have another one somewhere along the line. Peace.